Hey everyone, it's Keela here for Soy and Shea. Thank you so much for joining me for today's soap making video where I am doing one of the Patreon design challenge ones. I am a little bit late getting this one out. It should have come out in September, but with everything going on, trying to keep up with Halloween and Christmas, I just lost track of time. But as they say, better late than never. For this month's challenge, I asked my Patreons to list some colors that they'd like to see me use in a soap, and I said I would probably complement it with either white or black as well, so they didn't have to use those as part of their suggestion. I put everyone's suggestions into a soapy jug, and the one that I drew out came from Dee, who runs Lovely Llama Soaps, and she makes the most amazing soaps. You have to go and check it out. I've left her links down in the description box so you can go and have a look. And Dee suggested two of my favorite colors, and that is Aquamarine and Eminence. And as soon as I saw her suggest those ones, before I even knew what I was doing, my immediate thought was to do a mermaid soap because I haven't done one for so long if her suggestion was drawn out. Now Dee's suggestion was drawn out. So today we're going to go and make Mermaid Treasures. Let's go. So the first thing we're going to do is our mermaid tails. Now anyone who makes mermaid tail soaps, you'll know that one of the things with making them is that the tails generally always break because across here is so thin. But I found these molds when I was in a kitchen shop one day. They're a daily bake mold, and these mermaid tails are a lot thicker or a lot deeper, so hopefully they won't snap on me when we're making them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Aquamarine and Eminence Mica, and I'm going to paint directly into these molds. I'm just going to take the top off, going to grab a paintbrush, and I'm just going to dip it in the mica, and I'm just going to start randomly sort of dipping into the molds just to add some color. And I like doing it this way because it gives a really nice shimmer and shine to the soap. I'm going to use some of the color in the actual soap when we pour it as well, but this way it just looks really pretty. So I don't know, I've poured off 150 grams of my oil, so we'll see how many I get. I'll hopefully get my full 19, but I will actually put mica in a few more than just 19 of these. Let's get this done, then we'll grab our oils and our lye, we'll mix it up and we'll pour it in. Alright, now that we've got that done, let's get this mixed in. And into my oils, I'm only going to put the one colour in here, and I'm going to use that Aquamarine. I know you can't really see what I'm doing, but I've decided that is going to be too messy, so I'm pouring it into a piping bag, and that's just going to make it so much easier to get it into these molds without making any more mess than what I've just made. Okay, so I've finished pouring in the mermaid tails. We're going to leave them to set up. Tomorrow we'll unmold them and then we'll get on to making the main soap. I have also got a bonus little tail as one of my kids' soaps, plus a few extras just in case any of these snap when we're unmolding them. Okay, so we are ready to unmold these mermaid tails, and I wanted to share a little bit of a trick with you as well. One of the things that can happen when we are covering soap in mica like this is that whenever we touch and we end up with mica all over us, and there is a little trick to stopping that mica from staining everyone, especially your customers when they do go ahead and purchase. So I'm going to pop all of these little tails out of the mold, and you can see they've come up absolutely gorgeous and sparkling with all of that mica on them. But once I've got them out, I will show you a little trick to stop you getting mica hands. Okay, so now that we've got all of our tails out, you can see a couple of these need to be cleaned up a little bit. But before I do that, so I don't get mica all over my hands, I have got some 70% rubbing alcohol. And what I'm going to do is just give this a light spritz. You don't want it so much that the mica runs off, but you do want it so there's a bit of alcohol on there, and then you want to just let it sit and dry. And this can take 10-20 minutes depending upon what the weather is doing in your area. So just leave it sit there, don't play with it, because you will get that mica running. But what happens is, I've made these little pearls to go on top of the soap as well. I just rolled some white soap dough up, and then I covered it in a white blizzard mica and spray them, and then what you can see is you can actually then handle them without getting mica all over you. So you do need to let this sit and dry. Once it's done that, I'll tidy these little tails up, get rid of all the little bits off them, and then we'll get on to making the soap. Okay, so we are ready to get into making this soap. We've got our oil and lye water to the right temperature, poured it in just gently to prevent any splashback. Going to mix it together, and then we're going to split it out for these colors. Alright, so I've just brought them to emulsion, so we've got enough working time. I have got some titanium dioxide. In this jug here, I have quite a bit of the Eminence powder, and then in this one I only have a little bit, just to try and get two different shades. And then in here we have got some Aquamarine, and then in this one I have got some Aquamarine and some black mica as well, because I did say I'd be using both black and white just to change the colors up a little bit. And basically I am going to split this out between these 5 pots. Okay, now that we've got all of our colours mixed up, I'm going to add in my fragrance oil. This one's called Ocean Breeze, and I know it I have used it a number of times, and it has behaved really well every time I've used it. So hopefully it does again today. Let's get the fragrance mixed in, and then I'm going to grab the mold and we're going to pour it in. Now initially I was going to do my sort of favourite pour, that sort of dirty pour where I pour it all back into the main mold, but I am trying to try some, well, not try new techniques, but at least try and change my technique up a little bit. So I think what we might do is just pour them straight into the mold, and maybe put the hanger through, because I haven't used that for a while. Okay, so we've got our mold. Now I have got a couple of shaper tools in the end here, because the wooden box is a little bit too long, about, I don't know, 4 mil too long for the liner, and it bulges out at the end if I don't put something there. So all I'm going to do is just pour these straight into the mold. I don't do this very often, but I always love the look. But this is also a really good soap to show you, that was a bit hard to say, that you really don't need that many colours. I know I've got a lot, but you really don't need that many colours to get lots of colours in your soap. So we've only actually got 4 colours here, but I've got 5. So you can see we've got that beautiful dark green. Just by adding that black into the aquamarine. Absolutely love it. And you know what? I think we might not even need the hanger in this, because it is so fluid. It is behaving beautifully so far. Gonna finish getting all this poured in, and yeah, I don't think we're gonna do the hanger. Now I know I have just done that pretty swirl, and basically this ruins the swirl on the one side, but you can still see the pretty swirl down that side. But I do want to put this dint in here so we can put those little tails so that they look like they're coming up out of a wave. So I actually might just go back through them and make that little wave a bit deeper. Alright, so let's grab our first lot of embeds here. So we've got our little tails, and I am just going to pop them so that they look like they're about to dive down into the water there. So we're going to come each one across here, and because I have sprayed them with the rubbing alcohol, it doesn't actually come off on the skin. So it's a really, really good tip if you do like putting a bit of mica onto your soaps. Make sure to give them a bit of a spray with that rubbing alcohol to make sure it stays in place. So I'll get all these tails on, and then once I've got the tails in place, I've got a couple of other embeds here. So I've got the pearls, which I showed you, and I also have some of these seashells. I always have these on hand, and I'll leave a link to a video showing how I get the colouring on these seashells. They're all going to be different, but I'm going to pop a seashell and a little pearl on each of the soaps like so, and I can already feel that those gloves are going to make that difficult. So let's get them off and get our embeds in here. So here is Mermaid Treasures in the mold. It's looking so super cute, and I can't wait to cut this one open. Those tails are lovely and sturdy, so they shouldn't break like the other tails usually do. It's looking really pretty, and I can't wait to get this one cut open and see what that paw looks like on the inside. Okay, we are ready to cut into Mermaid Treasures, and it is looking absolutely gorgeous. So let's get it into Ida, making sure that I'm putting my tails on this side of the cutter so we don't hit them when we bring the cutter bar down. Let's get it all lined up between those wires. It is looking pretty good. It smells fantastic. This is one of my favorite scents for making any of my ocean themed soaps. We've got a couple of little casualties on the shells, but none on the tails of the pearls, so that's all good. Let's take a look at what we've got inside. Ooh, that looks like some really stormy water. Absolutely love how that's come up, and love the colours as well. That real deep teal sort of colour that we got by mixing the aquamarine and a little bit of black mica just come up absolutely gorgeous. Really, really love how this paw has come out. Again, it's one of those I don't usually do, but I really, really like it when I do it. I don't know why I don't do it more, but really, really happy with that. It just looks so fun and playful. Absolutely love it. And as I said, two of my favorite colors out of the My Micro Obsession range. So I hope you have enjoyed coming along as I made Mermaid Treasures. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a good one, and I will see you then. Bye.